This is the Epic Podcast because sometimes fuck it
just fits.
just fits.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. So episode 16 of the Epic Podcast, we're super excited. This is a lot of episodes.
This is a lot.
Yes, and we have
Accomplished.
definitely dedicated to bring you not only funny content because you know we're funny, but informational content because we want to make sure our community has the best resources in our little small part of the world that we can bring. So today we have Dre Mitchell of Grind Major Day Trading.
What's up,
I have
everybody?
dyslexia, and last time I said Grind Day Major, I was like, that's not it. I had to delete the video. But anyway,
it's Grind
Grind Major Day Trading on all his social media platforms. He is a day trader, and he also teaches people how to day trade the correct way. So
Correct way.
if get your pen and paper,
Not the Facebook meme way.
not the pyramid scheme way.
None of
The
that
pyramid scheme way.
None of that MLM
Right.
salesy.
Not the Cash App.
Very much like
whatever
this
that
is what
is.
he does full time, and he doesn't work another job way.
This is what I do.
That's what he does. Period. And his bills are taken care of. Period.
So it's good to have you here. And this is
up, man?
definitely a very important show to have.
At this time.
Especially
Yeah.
during this time.
Absolutely. We definitely been promoting this as the money episode, and I hope that people realize that, you know, we live in a world that, whether we want to say it or not, money is power.
Money is
And so
power.
it's very important to not understand how to get it, but how to keep it and how to continue to let it grow. So definitely this episode, hopefully you'll leave with some jewels that you can take to make sure that you're pointing to your household correctly. And yeah, what is on the agenda today? Because y'all, I'm drinking red wine because I'm trying to
So
way you shine. I
You
burn
gotta
sage.
balance
I
out.
have my Palo Santo. I have a candle. You probably can't see. I am drinking Cabernet Sauvignon. I need a vibe because it's a lot,
It's a lot
going on in Wakanda. Okay,
Bounce all that out.
I'm also mellow today.
we're Andre is a mellow person. That's his.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
I'm an easygoing person.
He doesn't have a
anyway,
third
so-
gear. It's
Yeah,
this
so-
or nothing.
So don't think I'm not enjoying myself or having a great time. I'm actually having a ball. This is kind of like a lightweight reunion anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm having a ball, but I'm just a laid back person.
A lightweight reunion from a place that will never name
That
on the
is
show.
funny.
Nah.
So I know you guys remember early on in our show that there is this place that we worked that Ebony and I met.
It ain't Wakanda.
And it is a place that we again will
It's
never
the sunken
name.
place.
But the funny story. So
It
he
ain't
was
sunken.
like, okay, I do remember you from the spot. He did not. I said,
No, we don't
that
say
is
that
so
name.
funny. I was
Baby,
like, we
you
do
won't-
not.
You won't even get knowledge of. You won't even get acknowledgement when I'm not even around
Right.
people.
We're not even about to do it.
But you know what? And me and Dre were talking about this the other day. Even though that spot is down, right? If we all didn't come to that place at
We
that
wouldn't be here
time,
today.
it's so many people that I have flourished in relationships with
Yep.
from that space. So it's so funny how like things and like
The universe.
the
works.
universe brings you to a place, even if you hate it.
Right.
It like if you flourish out like. Me and Star would have never known each other. Imagine a
Right.
world without me and Star.
Right. Imagine
Imagine a world.
I
So,
can't.
yes, I'm like, I needed to be in that
Right.
space in that moment, as crazy as it is. And honestly, I had a ball at that place. 'cause I used to
It was
drink.
about because we used to cut up. And the
used to
funny
cut up.
thing is that he was always still the same person, just watching us cut.
Baby, clock in, sit in the back. I'm like,
Hey.
do you want this drink I made in my house?
Right. Here you go.
'Cause we gotta take
Cheers.
this.
Answer the calls. Make sure you say please.
Okay, so let's get into it. I want to make this a fruitful, however long this is.
Right.
Hopefully just an hour and a half, but y'all know how we give.
Right.
So the first thing, I think we would be remiss, even though I am tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm beyond exhausted. I think I'll be 35 this year, and I think I'm starting to feel like how my mom feels or how my grandma feels. Like
I'm tired.
I'm tired as fuck.
tired.
like
Yeah.
And I
I'm
can't
tired.
even imagine how they felt if this is what I'm tired about, even though this is a lot. I can't even begin to imagine.
Well, here's the difference, though, from like our parents and our grandparents is that they didn't have a way to saturate their minds with it all the time via
That is
social
true.
media. So when it happened, I mean, I'm not trying to call my mama old, but what I'm saying is like when it happened, I'm gonna say because they got it in the newspaper, but like when it happened, you got it on the news, but like at the 9:00 news, like you had to be in a specific place, at a specific time. So if you went to bed, you may not have read into it until the next night or whatever.
Right.
Us, as soon as we log on, it's like bop, 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 and and it saturates our mind and our mental, or it can all the time, even if you block it out. Because I try to be optimistic. I try to block it out, but if we're being real serious, it's gonna be something that hits you. Like this week, I cried, and I haven't cried even from the Trayvon Martins, and I use his as a staple. I know he's not the first of whatever, but like since Trayvon Martin's been about 10 years, which seems surreal. Right. This is the first time I ever was like, and maybe because I'm a mom now, I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna have to cry and get this out.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So
it is a lot. And then I love how Killer Mike. I don't know if you saw him on the news conference, but I you know what, Killer Mike is actually my spirit animal. And Killer Mike, if you're listening, I hope
he's the most intelligent person that I have seen in a celebrity sense.
So he said watching murder porn. And he called it murder porn because it was like every little bit you look up and then they're just replaying what happened over and over and over, replaying it. So then it becomes, it's a double-edged sword. Are we sensationalizing it, or like it's Emmett Till's mother?
I believe it's both. I believe it's meant to sensationalize and desensitize you at the same time.
So when it happens, you're like,
right.
Somebody died just a few hours ago, I think. Like, not even just...
And where's that kid? Jacob Cosby or whoever he was in Chicago that the police...
The 22... Like, it happens so often that we have become like, I can't even give it energy anymore. And it's sad because it's someone's life. But I can't even give it energy anymore. And it's just like every platform talks about it. And I get why they do. And then it goes into the space of like the people who happen to be white that call and like, what can I do? And I know their hearts and I know the dream. I'm like, girl, I'm tired. I don't have time to explain to you what you can do.
I don't have time. What do you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you. My opinion about not everybody, but well, actually, you know what I mean. Generally speaking, man, listen. If I know how white supremacy and racism works, you gotta know.
Yes.
And it's evident in certain behavior.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It might be underlying or whatever the case may be, but just the simple fact that you do and say certain things around me is proof that you're aware that how this works.
Right.
So do different. Like, because the fact of the matter is, the only people who can stop racism is white people.
Yeah. Because they created it.
Think about it this way. When has a black person ever been believed about racism unless a white person co-signed it? Never. Right? So you're the ones who have
California, ladies and gentlemen.
You're the ones who have to end it.
Yeah.
I mean, period. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a if you're a police officer or a member of the military or somebody who is hired to carry a weapon, you have to look at this from the lens of the family man, the father, the brother, whoever it is that you are. That's before your uniform. And I'm telling you this as a veteran. As an Army veteran. You understand me? Like, that comes before that uniform.
Right.
So, you'll see some real change when those individuals decide that this is enough. You understand me? When my partner, whom I know is racist, is on some bullshit, I'm gonna physically do something about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna wait to fill out no reports and all that shit that's gonna get buried like I already know it is because I'm part of the system. I'm just gonna go ahead and handle business right there.
Yeah.
And this is just as simple as that. If you're not willing to do that, then you need to get the fuck out the way. And there really is not much more to say about it other than that. There's nothing. I can riot. I can do all the right and the wrong things, and I'll still never stop racism. Right. You understand me? Like,
that's to the point of like the.
it's on you.
Me and Scott have slightly different views about the protesting, which is, I think protesting is necessary. It is our right, and it is something that has always been something necessary for the people of the unheard, right? And then there's looting and rioting, right? I feel like, for me now, where I come from, what I've been through, and not to say what I've been through like personally, but just what I viewed through my lenses, I feel like you cannot control how people react to the way that you hurt them. And so, my heart goes out to the black store owners, and my heart goes out to the allied owners who maybe not be black, but really don't have a genuine space to make sure that people feel inclusive. But casualties of war. That's how I feel. I feel like, I don't have time. If I'm riding, I don't have time to like, let me Google if this is a black-owned business. I don't have time for that. Right. And I get it. But like, there's certain things that you put in place as a business owner, certain risks that you take. You need to put insurance. If you don't have insurance on your business, number one, let's be honest.
You should.
Like,
there's no reason why you didn't have it.
That's beyond.
I thought that it's a requirement for you to have it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should go out and deliberately, like, for example, God is Dope, who, I need to start tagging them in here because I support them a lot.
I'll hook you up.
God is Dope is a black-owned business, which I've supported, and I know a lot of people have supported, and they have a storefront on Edgewood. They put in a window, black-owned business, skip us. Like, we good. We Gucci. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to ensure, if you don't want to go through the process of rebuilding, put that out there. Not to say that's going to save your business, but put that out there. Or understand that sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to progress. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what a lot of these, like, celebrities and business owners in Atlanta are not like. I'm gonna be real with you. I love T.I. You can ask my husband, like, T.I. is me. Like, I love T.I. Like, as a Southern artist, T.I. is it for me. T.I. and Jeezy and Outkast are it for me. But, don't tell me to go home when you came out of your gated community and you're going back to the gated community that also stopped you for being a black man because they didn't even know you lived there.
Trying to get in.
So it's like,
you can't even live
say
there. Things
that make sense to the people. Say, you know what? We get it.
Like Killer Mike did.
You're mad. He said, I don't want to be here, and I still don't want to be here. I understand why you're mad. I want the world to burn too, but y'all got it. Y'all burnt the world. Now let's go home and let's create a plan. Let's strategize.
So what my part of...
I also wear a 41 Gucci slants.
My other part of that...
You're outside.
Period. I mean, they didn't steal them. I didn't steal them.
My other side of that conversation, I'm not for certain if I should put on...
This is called fuck it.
It is, however, this will be part of the FBI tapes. From what I said.
Well, my name is Michelle Obama.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
Later.
Okay. Well, don't get nothing to get
us. I said, what would invoke the change?
Got you.
What really would invoke the change is exactly...
Oh, I know.
What really would evoke the change is exactly what you said. They're going to have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, man.
Us protesting and pleading and telling them for 80 years at this point.
400.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking about with just
recent
the push
history.
of really after we really started establishing some things.
Gotcha.
Leave us the fuck alone type of we need you to. For the past 80 years, we've been actually doing the same thing, proving to them that we are people as well.
Yeah.
By being on this side of the proving it.
Man.
There is.
Listen. Me and Dre, he called me to say what time we was going to the show, and 45 minutes later, I was like, because it's too much.
Yeah.
Now, I could give a hypothetical, and this is just hypothetical. And I do not encourage anyone
what's happening
to do this.
What's...
But what I honestly know, what would change, Gucci and Louis and Dior, all of those people, first of all, could have recouped those losses without insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all should have burned down the black businesses so that they could get insurance because y'all motherfuckers don't support them anyway. Moving forward, however, what would send a message is going into their neighborhoods
Waking their asses up.
and waking their asses up at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Like they do for us when they put crosses in our yards.
Recreating Greenwood, Tulsa. I guarantee you, if we went into, let's just say, I don't know, Tuxedo Park, where the governor's mansion is located. Or,
Picture this.
Sicily.
42.
1960. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And went into Ansley Park, built in 1904 for the... I guarantee you, had those neighborhoods looked like how Philadelphia's Tudor middle-class neighborhood looks that got bombed in 1985, that still never got recovered, I bet you if the message ended looking like that, somebody gonna start to help.
So
Now, it's gonna be messy, though.
So I'll
Listen.
listen. I could say a lot about that. I'll just
We
say
can go.
do it.
Listen, I set a timer because what I said was I want this episode to.
yeah, we're about to get to the money.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight, but I want you to know that there's other options besides crying.
It is.
There's other options besides rioting and asking. Tupac said one of my favorite things. He said, "You're not gonna keep showing me the food
Yep.
and showing me the party,
Right.
and you're gonna be like, come on in, it's a party. Close the door. No, I'm gonna knock that bitch over.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm gonna start creating spaces for my people.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start shopping with my people. And I know that's easier said than done because a lot of times we have this conversation that black-owned businesses, this and that and the third. So what? I want y'all to go up for Juneteenth like y'all go up for the July 4th. I want y'all to go up for Juneteenth like y'all go up for Memorial Day. Because them days ain't for y'all.
Well, Memorial Day.
Well, you know what I mean. Memorial Day, okay. I'm sorry, I went too far. But July 4th ain't for you.
Nah.
That
It's
ain't
not.
That ain't for you.
And I celebrate Juneteenth faithfully. I am from Texas, so we have celebrated
A big-
Juneteenth all of my life. So I'm a Juneteenther.
We might have a Juneteenth episode.
Yes, we and of course I already have a dashiki for June.
Me too.
So,
But no, you have to. I think we're at the point where, the rioting and the looting and the protesting are necessary, in my opinion.
It is.
I think everybody has their own role. Trust me, when I was on front lines too, that was my role at one point 10 years ago when I ain't had kids and I could be out all times of the night.
War
That was my
always
role.
that.
No justice, no peace. My role now in the seat that I am is like, let me figure out A, how to get my money, B, how to spend it in my community,
Yes.
and C, how to teach others to do so
Now
as well.
that is
Or find somebody who can.
that is the easiest sacrifice. The easiest sacrifice that we could do, aside from protesting, because I am all for marching in the streets and disrupting
Absolutely.
shit.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm saying. However, I like to say that do things that keep those things on the news, because no one cares about Lenox Mall or Phipps Plaza. It's not on the news anymore. No one's even talking about it anymore.
But they care now that they on the lawn of the White
But
House.
they know that they're now on the line of the White House. Now, not saying, again, I do not condone this, but had there been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Molotov cocktails that flew over the White House lawn, you know what I'm saying? Like, America got its revolution from Britain by looting and rioting. But what did they loot and riot? Something that cost them billions of dollars to what in today's cost,
Right.
compared to them that cut off and basically letting you know if you send another one over, the same thing's gonna happen. What? Again and again and again, until they started sending a whole bunch of people that said it's on. So either that's the approach we're gonna do, or the reason why we have a money issue is the biggest and easiest sacrifice that we could do is stop spending our money. What we could also do is recreate, watch this double entendre, Greenwood, Tulsa, before they burned it down.
Okay, so and you saying that to caveat like into before I think, and I told Dre this. I said before people can understand how to make money, not just with you, but because Dre knows how to make money and help you make money, but Dre also is a wealth of knowledge of just money, right? I think in order to understand how to make money, you got to understand your brain and how you have been introduced to money, right?
Right.
Because each of us here, and I'm sitting between two black kings, if you didn't notice. Black Lives Matter. But I want people to understand, like, black people, we have had not all, I'm not going to, but most of us have had a history of money that hasn't been positive.
Right.
A lot of people don't have people in their life to look to who have been successful via money, unless they were like illegally getting that money, or, you know, beyond that, getting the money, retaining the money, and actually having something to leave behind. Yeah. So my question is to both of you all, before we get into how to make money, how to retain money, your history of money, whether it's your personal story or something that you have seen with your view, what do you feel like the history of money for our community has been, and the reason why we're so scared to figure out different ways to make money? Well, I'll let Dre go first.
Right, that's what I was going to say. I would say, let's go to
I know you got to, I know.
Expert.
Baby, I know.
Only because, you know, mine's going to be...
Well, I mean, we'll be here all night talking about why we don't have no money. You know what I'm saying? So let's just be honest.
And that's on Jesus Christ. And that's on fuck.
Yeah, that's on Mama, man. We'll be here all night, man, talking about why we don't have no money. But, I mean, I think we are all aware of systematic racism and practices around that your government did to you to cause certain financial situations. Right. But aside from that, there's even a lot of misconceptions that I think we need to stop believing.
Right.
Because
get your pens and papers.
I feel like I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. You probably do. So, first thing is, like when it comes to money, it's a psychological thing. Like the two things that mess with your brain and your heart the most are your family and your money.
Right.
Right. People will forego their health for money. So that's why I didn't even include that, because people will skip going to the doctor to save on paying a bill. Right. So your money and your family, and there are certain stigmas and things that are said about black people that are just, the numbers say that they're the real numbers, not the news, not opinions, but numbers. They say that they're not true. Like saving, for example. Black people are actually, those that classify as black, they're better actually at saving than all other groups. We're actually better, and it's out of necessity. It's just that we don't have access to the amount of capital to save.
Right.
You understand me? It's a big ass difference when you making $50,000 a year supporting a family versus $500,000 a year supporting a family. You got a hell of a lot of leeway to save some money, especially if you're doing it the right way and living below your means. You got a ton of money to save if you're doing it the right way. Right. So you don't have that.
And a lot of the time you obtained that anyway.
Well, not even a lot of the time, bro. Like damn near all the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing about wealth. That's another thing that, like, the reason that we as individuals of color have to actually generate our own wealth is because wealth doesn't redistribute.
Right.
It's not like every 30 years they equally redistribute it and then just say go for yours, and at the end of the next 30 years whoever got the most of it is the winner, and then we do it all over again. Nah, my nigga, like once you got it, you got it. This is why families run shit.
Yeah. Families.
This is why families run shit, not corporations. Right. Families own corporations.
Right.
Families own corporations, but families run shit, and there's a reason for that, because wealth doesn't redistribute. So if it doesn't redistribute, your only other course of action is to create it.
Right.
So you have to find other avenues to create it. So that's kind of how I guess maybe a segue to get into what I do, because with the market and trading and investing, if you know how to sell it and buy it, it literally is at least unless somebody can tell me something different, it's the only thing that I've found to be recession.
Can I tell you something different on this podcast? Before you segue, I think it's important. Like, you went more globally as far as the relationship to money. For me, I don't mind sharing, like, personally.
Right.
And this is nothing to, I mean, I was raised to be what I hope to be, a great person. But, you know, like, my parents did not teach me the proper way to not only, like...
Ooh, I got something for that too, though.
I was taught the proper way to get money. Like, my mom is the ultimate hustler. My mom, I would never know that we wasn't rich because I always had what I wanted, not what I needed, what I wanted.
Right.
Like, it was a couple days and times I was like, oh shit, we probably got it. But for the most part of my childhood, my mama grind for what I wanted. So I didn't know, like, my mom was struggling until I was older and I understood. So I always knew how to get money. Right. But what I didn't know, and I think it's because maybe she didn't know to teach me, was not only how to get money, how to retain money, how to save money, and how to make sure the money works for you.
So I got something for that. So that is for me, I like to try to simplify shit because when I teach you how to day trade, I'm not... hey, I'm trying to train you so you can leave me. So I try to make it as simple as possible, right? So for that, I think it just simply comes down to, you could trace it to a lot of individual things, but it really just comes down to exposure. And your position. So if you're the only reason I was such a pit bull about learning how to day trade is because I had a relative who did it before me, right? And I was aware of it. I became aware of it,
right?
And I saw her do something that I thought was some phenomenal shit with some money. And it blew my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh God, I gotta learn. Right, I gotta learn how to do this. But the other thing is, think about it this way: like if you're always in survival mode, when do you have time? Like to and this is why I'm always giving like our parents and our grandparents like all the utmost credit, because the shit that you had to deal with, like when and this is important why we have to break cycles, because now those of us who are in our 30s and 40s, think about when do you really have fucking time to think about your bread, like other than
when you're paying bills.
Right. So there's this thing that you say in the Army, it's called you can't see past chow. So what that means is you can't see past what's right in your face. The next time you're supposed to go eat.
Right.
When you're supposed to be looking downrange.
Oh, chow. That makes sense.
Chow. Right. Because you're so busy, all you're concerned about is when is the next time I'm about to go eat. Right. So when you're in survival mode, like most of us are, positioned to be pigeonholed, I should say. We didn't
pigeonhole.
We were pigeonholed.
Forced to.
Exactly. Right. You feel me? So we didn't position ourselves that way. We were pigeonholed that way, and then
deliberately.
Right, and then subjugated to stay that way. You know what I'm saying? So, and then another thing too is like, man, stop, like keep shit realistic too, man. When you're dealing with money, like stop believing all that hype. Like there's a dude that I'm acquainted with. His name is Antonio Moore. You should really look at some of his information. He talks a lot about numbers, about the standing of the wealth in the black community. And they're just numbers. They're not opinionated. They're not nothing like that. So stop looking at
numbers don't lie.
Right. So stop looking at the celebrities and all that stuff, because I'll give you an example. Like would if Oprah really had the money that she had, wouldn't she still own?
Tony, what is your thoughts on?
Don't do it.
No, not on Oprah. We gonna get.
and I'm not. And
that was a word.
And I'm not picking on Oprah.
No, I know.
But what I'm saying
don't worry.
But what I'm saying is people hold her in such a high regard, especially when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
And let's just look at it for what it is.
Y'all already know.
Listen.
So and she's not the only one.
Right.
She not.
Oprah by far.
The president of the United States that we've never seen his tax forms, and it's almost time for him to get the fuck out of office. And y'all think this nigga got the money that he said?
Well, we know. We know Orange Crush is like a professional failure.
Right. We know he's a professional failure.
Right, he's a professional failure. But the thing about him, and the thing about what everybody else can learn from even an idiot like that, or at least the people who facilitate his business, because I can't believe that he does anything himself.
Right.
Is that they take advantage of the system.
Yep.
So instead of, when it comes to money, we can talk about a whole lot of different things. We can talk about police violence. We can talk about a whole lot of shit. But when it comes to the money,
To the
you
money.
really need to take a page out of other people's books and put it in action, because
That's the language everybody speaks.
right. And I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody who listening, like those of you who are interested in trading any kind of thing or investing any kind of thing, especially if you're a person of color and especially if you identify as being black, that shit.
What do you mean identify as being black? People Rachel Dolezal.
Hey, the other way.
So Rachel Dolezal, if you're listening,
All of the ones that are saying, all of the ones who are saying that the y'all lost me with the rioting, they don't identify as black.
Whoever, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
But all I'm saying is that one is not as complicated as you think it is.
Okay.
Two, take a page out of their book, at least when it comes to the money, because there's so much of it moving.
They made it up.
That the
they
thing
made
is,
the rules up.
Well, the thing is,
Kennedy made the rules.
But check this out though. If you notice, out of everything that they try to save or not save, they're always trying to save the economy, right?
Always.
So as long as they're
Get into your $1,200.
as long as there's a product and a service to buy and sell, and as long as there are means to pay for it, there's going to be something that you can trade in a market. So what that means for you, the person who wants to learn how to do this, is nobody gives a fuck what you look like. The only thing that nobody cares what your sex is, what your color is, what none of that stuff is. The only thing that matters is, do you have the money to get into the market, and are you educated and smart enough to get in and out with a profit? That's what matters. So this is why I say this is something that all, especially black people, like, even if you don't want to take advantage of it, you need to be aware that it's here. You need to be aware that it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
You can learn how to do it. And there's other avenues, but I'm gonna tell you the largest avenues for people to earn wealth are insurance, investing, and real estate. Some form of those three businesses. Those are the three main avenues. The top 1% or top 10% or whatever you want to look at it. That's how they make their money, and they usually do all three.
I want you to break down. I want to do two things. I'm Sally Jesse Raphael. I need red glasses. I want you to. I need red glasses. I'm getting red glasses.
Go back to my experience with money.
Yes.
Okay.
I want you to go back to your experience, and then I want to go to Dre to give us 5 things that we can take away from the benefits of day trading and or the benefits of reinvesting our money into ourselves. Because I feel like when I think about day trading in the global sense, and I'm very minuscule, I feel bad because he's my friend. I should just like take advantage because he's about to give it to me for free. But he's not going to give it to you for free. But what I'm saying is, like, I want to understand like the advantage not only of the day trading, but how to like make my money work for me, because I feel like that's what day trading is. But before we get into that, like, tell me your experience of money, because I'm making a book on Tony. No, no, seriously. I think it's important to understand the black man who Dre was very fortunate to have men and mostly women, right? Am I not? Women in your life.
Very, very solid men and
very
women,
solid men and women in your life.
As numbers wise, it was mostly
who you had to look to, right?
Right. I did.
Tony is not the complete opposite, because we love you, right? But in regards to how you understood money, I want you to say that, because your story is not different from anybody else's, possibly.
So, the funny thing is that before a certain point of my life, we actually probably lived in, I'd say, an upper middle class neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, but upper middle class black neighborhood. And I'm glad that you also said the misconceptions of black people saving, because I always fight for the misconceptions to say, y'all have to really pay attention. We have a very, very large and affluent black middle class. And they like to focus on, you know, the poverty and things of that nature. But even people who live in the neighborhoods that you call impoverished neighborhoods, some of them live in the neighborhoods because they want to live in the neighborhoods. Yeah. Not because I don't have...
Yeah, they want to stay close,
you know, we are also out here doing
alone
things, you know, and I'm... another reason why I'm so glad that you are here today, because that's the one area that we have not successfully infiltrated.
Yeah.
And this is the day trading.
Right.
It's one area that, you know, it's like, and I'm gonna say, I'm probably gonna speak for so many black people specifically. We don't like math.
No,
We don't like math, and I'm just not gonna lie.
Okay.
You got people who, when I find people who are interested in math, and they be like, "Oh no, what's your favorite subject?" And even when I was in high school or middle school, and I was like, and people would say, "Well, what's your favorite subject?" And they would say math.
Man,
Like, I
whatever.
would be so fucking shocked. To a lot of people, not even just black people, but this we talking about right now.
Right.
When people say day trading, they think of their worst subject in high school.
No.
The one subject that they really just had no choice but to go in and just do try to cheat off somebody's paper because really I'm not gonna use this in life.
Right.
That's how they approach it. So my experience with money, we came from to me, now that I look back at how huge my first homes were, I could tell that we would have been in upper middle class.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So dad corporate, mom corporate, both degree.
Graduated.
And I also want to shout out to, and there are grandparents now, even though there are mothers and fathers, there are a lot of people grandparents. Our mothers and fathers and grandparents, a lot of them are absolutely degreed down. Now,
Down.
Shout out to my mom with all her masters
Right.
and everything.
His mom is
Exactly.
smart.
My mom is super degree.
And
So
I'm talking about that generation did not play with school because
My mama definitely has a degree.
they fought to get into it.
Exactly. So they can't play with it.
So it was different for us. And as we,
Their parents fought to get them into it.
and along the way, what still traveled was the financial, the finances that were still not being taught because again we were taught to survive.
Yeah.
Right.
So when my mom and dad separated and got a divorce, the quality of life changed.
Right.
And my mom was working well. It just changed to, I could tell it changed. It still wasn't to a point where we were struggling or anything of that nature.
It just wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same until my mom had an accident. That particular thing is what really changed it because she couldn't work at the job that we were used to. Then I could tell that it would change because then we would move and move and move and move and move. So my idea of money came to, I needed to make it and I needed to spend it. And I needed to make money to buy my own clothes so my mom won't have to.
Yeah.
Buy my own shoes so my mom won't have to. Buy my own food so my mom won't have to. Get my own way to and from work so my mom won't have to.
You didn't want to put that on her.
I didn't want to put that on her. So I went in at 15. I went into survival mode really early. And to this day, piggybacking on last episode where it said, now I'm growing the confidence to think that I cannot work for somebody and actually
Be successful.
be successful because I went into survival mode very early. A lot of us went into survival mode because we had to get a job at 15. We had to get a job at 16. But our idea of money still came with what we wore. Because a lot of us still only got jobs
To get
the
the shit that our parents
couldn't afford.
And mine was
Not
different
to
because my
say
mom spoiled me so much.
that you didn't have to.
I didn't know that I
So-
was. I didn't know I was poor.
And we didn't know either.
So look, I'm gonna tell
Because
you.
my mama made sure.
I'm gonna tell you why I think, so listening to you say that, that's why I wanted to pull out my notepad and start taking notes. I think looking back on it, and
He's the first guest that has taken notes.
oh, is that right?
Yes.
Damn,
Don't-
ain't coming up in it. Never mind. I ain't gonna do
Candace,
that.
we still love you, and
No,
we know how
Candace. First of all, Candace is not even in the running. Oh, I guess she's not being on it. I guess. Well, we did have, but she's not even in the running because Candace is a robot.
Period. But go ahead. What you was gonna say?
So what I was gonna say was.
Just wait. Hi,
So
Darby.
what I was gonna say was, so the flip side to my upbringing was that I was raised around a hell of a lot of fucking education, but the capital wasn't there. So
The brain was there,
that's
but
it.
right. So I came
it.
I had a thirst for this shit from a unique perspective. So trip this right. So like my grandmother to this day, which is like 1/3 of my entire world. You know what I'm saying? So to this day she's a seamstress, right? So I said that to say that one of the first people, all the people that I saw employed or doing something at an early age, they either loved it or it was their own shit. Right? So that's where that kind of that quote unquote black tax, that difference between us and everybody else comes in. We're always going to have more knowledge than capital because of the way that they pigeonhole you. So you have to find something. This is why it's so important to monetize your knowledge. So even if you don't want to learn how to
get
day
into
trade,
that. Monetize. Dre, you don't even know what you did. You just gave a Holy Ghost word. You know I'm a church kid. Monetize your knowledge.
Your knowledge.
What you know.
What's the point of all of this shit?
What you know. Somebody else may not know and willing to pay you to tell them.
you.
Come on, somebody.
all right, so look, so like free game, right? Like when people come up with inventions, there's a passive and active approach to coming up with an answer to a question. So you can Google that shit, but passive and active. So if you're trying to, and those are two processes that'll even help you figure out what to do. So if you're sitting around and you're like, well, I know a whole lot of shit, but I don't know what to do with it. Those processes help you identify problems. And
Keep going.
okay, so anyway, those things help you identify problems. So if you don't know what to do, do those go through those processes if you don't know what to do.
Right.
But what I was saying was that it's and not to try to get too deep and away from the topic of money, but it's kind of hard
We
to
get away
avoid
from
it.
topics here.
That's what we do. All right, cool.
That's why we only have 3 because it ends up being 15.
All right.
Right.
So, and a lot of people might not like what I'm gonna say, but I mean, a lot of the actions that we do, man, we're trying to separate. We want to be black in certain situations, and I'm talking about black people. We want to be black in certain situations, but we don't want to be black in other situations and deal with the blackness in certain situations.
And may I quote, everybody wants to be a Negro, even though he said the other word, Negro, until it's time to be a Negro. That is Paul Sermoni.
Exactly.
But the thing is you're there's nothing about your blackness that you can separate from anything else. So money's one of those things. So when you want to try to generate capital to compound, which I'll get into that later, but if you want to generate extra capital to compound, then you need to what's up?
No, you good.
You need to learn other ways to generate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna come from whatever they gave you, unfortunately.
It's not.
You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen. So you're gonna have to do something like day trading, monetize your knowledge, get into something that's sustainable, like property, insuring that property in some way, shape, form. You know what I mean? Something.
People don't really want to buy no property,
and then purchasing property was a big thing. And to this day, that's why we all know that when you have property, you have some type of wealth. Whatever that wealth looks like, at some point, there is some type of collateral that you can take when you are owning something.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, right? So most of my employment, other than that other fucking place, most of my employment has been with banking, right? So everything around what you think you're gonna be able to do is about to change. It's gonna be more expensive. It's gonna be more expensive for you to get involved in. property. If you have property now, point is it's going to be more expensive to get into that game. Insurance is going to be more expensive to get into that game. Day trading and investing is something that you don't necessarily need a lot of capital to start doing. And if you are disciplined, if you are patient, if you are willing to follow a process, I'm not saying that the other two are not good avenues, but you're going to have to do other things financially to get involved with that. This, you literally, if you were to invest in an education, and I'm not talking about with just me, but if you found anybody,
like an outside education,
if anybody was to give you a solid education, me or anybody else, if you vetted that person and they gave you a solid education and you were able to implement what they taught you, then go do that shit in the market. Quick other thing, like numbers, I like numbers. Every year, man, I think it's somewhere around $25, $27. If you waste, and I'm not talking about your gas money or nothing like that, but if you find some way to fuck off $25 to $30 a day,
Yep.
you have just blown about $10,000 or $11,000 a year.
Stop screaming at me.
So,
Right.
and that's not a lot of money.
Right.
Now when I trade the market,
cue all of those Amazon packages that are on.
hey, but I'm not mad at you. But I'm saying though, that same $30, if that were a $30 profit, and you were compounding it, let's say this month you made $30 profit a day for a month.
Right.
Next month you are trading and you increase your trade size by one position. So now you're still making $30, and now and get your pen because I'm just teaching you how to compound your money.
Yeah, I'm
now.
like, wait, slow down.
There is a question that said, is
What's
it a
up?
good time to buy property now?
I do not know because I'm not a real estate professional,
Okay.
but I'll tell you what though, if you want to send me a message at grindmajordaytrading.com, I can I have two real estate individuals that are phenomenal that can get you that kind of answer. My expertise is in trading and investing.
His expertise, I will say, as a homeowner of 2 homes, and I'm not,
Yeah.
that's a humble
Yeah,
brag.
there you go.
I will say that give it a second. You can definitely do something in the real estate now if you wanted to, but give it a second. It's coming. But definitely link with a real estate professional. But what I was going to tell you to slow down is like, look, there's the 5 things I was telling you about. One of the things I wanted you to touch
you wanted
on.
5 things, so yeah, my bad.
I'm very, I'm a Virgo.
5 things
One
to
of
what now?
5 things to, like a process thing. I want you to take them through. Number 1, the capital of how to start this, because I think a lot of people's problem is, and like when we posted this, people were like, "What do I got this extra money laying around?" I think it's about to get into it, because if you're saying like, "Yo, you buying whatever off of Amazon," you could be taking that money and redirecting it to something. So I want you to get into capital, because like you were saying, when you grew up, you knew a lot of people with the knowledge and the brain, but they didn't have the capital or didn't
Access to the
think they had the capital. Because I'm
Both,
sure
both,
right?
both.
Because you
Because
don't.
we scared.
because
We
We
scared.
are scared to let go of our money because I might need it. People don't realize that putting it over here is not necessarily.
But if you
getting
go on
rid of it.
fashionnova.com,
you know
But we like things.
got it.
You know, the
to
biggest-
us, things that I bought my money with, and I'm telling you, this is how a lot of people think. Because I bought things with my money, I transferred it into something that I
can
still
touch.
have. And even though it's worthless fucking now, and now you bought those clothes
whatever
and
those
those
things were.
things, and then you realize that now those things are collecting dust and different things like that. So that's where we have to break the cycle, because we are so hard on each other about the things that we do or do not have. If you see everything that we talk about, oh, y'all got a house, you got an air mattress. Oh, you don't got no furniture in your front room. Oh, but you don't know that person may be saving for a car. So I don't care. But we do that so much that people fall victim so quickly into transferring their money
and having a facade.
into things, because you be like, well, hey, I got the same couch for 12 years. Okay, it's too long. For 8 years, I have, okay, some people have a couch for 12 years. So I have a couch for 12 years, but I also have $120,000 in my savings because the couch don't do nothing but get sit on.
And it's still comfortable.
And it's still
functional.
And furthermore, if it becomes uncomfortable, I've saved so much fucking money. I
That
can
I
just go
could.
whenever
You and your raggedy mama on
whenever
couch.
I personally feel like it, I
Right.
can just up and go buy one.
And
I can buy
we-
two.
I don't have to save
buy
up.
three.
I
Or I
could
don't
buy
get
you,
credit to
you,
buy it.
and
I
you
can
a
buy all
couch.
you motherfuckers a couch.
Or I don't have to
If
take
you
out a
feel
credit
like
loan
you
to
try
get
to
it.
I played
he
the
said
money
he would
game.
buy.
Okay.
Oh, he said he would buy us a couch.
Because I play money because you play the money game.
Look at me like, hey, Brian, major traitor.
Right.
I need
So
a couch.
You don't have a big ass banner across the bottom of the joint. He said that he was.
He said he buying couches, and the couches ain't been bought.
So I'll get the show a couch if I can get my logo put in the back of it.
But do you see
Listen,
that?
we got to
So when we come with these 5 things, I wanted to say that before you wrote those things because that is one of the cycles that because we ultimately be okay with having a house full of and I'm talking about now, let me tell you, and y'all know, our houses be nothing to be toyed with. I don't care, even if you live in the projects, they would have redecorated that motherfucker to look like it
Aaron's Rent-A Center. And let's be on
and they not gonna open the door when Aaron's is knocking on that motherfucker.
because you ain't paid the $10 it was this week
So,
to keep up that leather furniture.
they with that little lamp that come out like this. Swallow.
Wait,
But you got them.
wait.
With the extender.
If you are listen, I love white people on this podcast, but this is probably not your conversation.
You don't know
If
this.
you are black.
with the brass-
You ain't never had a lamp that has the 5 things that come out of it. Baby,
Bitch, you are not.
Nah, the glass tables with the black legs.
Yes.
Going with the gold trim.
Right. What
your
you talking
mama
about?
thought she was giving
on.
you the business.
And first of all,
man.
the
Y'all
couch
tripping,
that you
y'all
was talking
tripping.
about came in 2 fabrics.
Y'all sure.
Leather or that
The other shit.
Micro sweat.
The other shit.
micro fleece suede.
I'm tired, but I
synthetic.
love being
And
black.
it had the gold trim
Because when
in
he
the middle
said
to
that,
separate.
I remember that silver lamp my mama got, and baby, you couldn't tell Lisa Davis because she
Click,
wasn't
click,
watching at that time.
right. And
You
it had
couldn't
that-
tell Lisa
And
Davis
then
nothing about
that was
that
the
lamp.
first time we really saw that roll up click, crack. Baby,
I hate to break the seriousness, but baby,
y'all got look.
that was a moment,
She talking
'cause y'all all
about
had
somebody
the-
said or the one down one. Y'all, but that's what I'm saying because
we
all right.
focus so much on it.
because we focused on so much of the things that we had because that let us know I got a good job, I got this. However, I can pay my bills. They are paid. I can buy things. I can go take my kids on an RV trip
To the Golden Corral.
you know,
And
I
tell
can
everybody
do all
that
of
she's
these
12 and she's
things.
16.
But if I lose that job,
You fucked in the game, cuz.
I'm fucked in the game.
Fucked in the game, cuz.
So
What is the best way to get? I don't know anything about anything, and I'm saying this as a person outside, right? What is the best way, or what is the best monetary number that you can give for the capital to do something independent from a corporation, or if you want to just make money on your own?
I mean, well, you know, it really depends on what you want to do. But in terms of day trading,
That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
In day
yeah,
trading, what
yeah,
is
for
the
sure.
best number that you can give for capital to start day trading?
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, if you have put into practice, done your demo work, and you're consistent with your practice work, really, you could legit start with $1,000.
That's not nothing.
You could have started with your stimulus check, to be honest with you.
That's not nothing.
And
That's
hold
your
on,
stimulus check.
hold on. You can start with your stimulus check, but y'all gotta speak to somebody who know what they doing.
Listen, man. Listen. This is what it is, man.
So what's the
And-
misconceptions that people have? Like
that they know what they
I
doing.
think I'll be honest, and I told Dre this when we were talking. I was like, I think, and he told me. a lot of people get nervous about doing things
Yeah.
like this because they didn't grow up around it.
Me.
You're right. They didn't grow up around it. Like we didn't grow. I didn't know day trading until you told me. Right. So like we didn't grow up around it, and also there's so many different scams and schemes and all these things. You like, wait, what is this? Primerica?
So, all right, so
because they got me. Okay, I'm
so,
not.
we got Capital, we got Best Way to Start, we got Misconceptions,
Yes.
you got Tumo. Because I'm gonna just go down your list.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go down your list.
And also I think it's best once we know how much money we need, what's the misconceptions, then when we have the capital, where you can take us, and then I'm going off memory because I don't have my notes. And then it's when we start
How
making
to live like that.
when we start making money, then what is the best way to reinvest that money? Like, how do you continue to make money? Like, I got this $1,000.
Right.
I'm doing this. Then how is it continues to make money? So go through that list. I think
Alright,
that might be
cool.
4 out of 5. But go ahead.
All right, no, I got you. I think I know where you're going with it. So, if you want to get started day trading, first thing is one, you're gonna have to, and I'm just being honest with you, it's gonna be a little bit out of order. But,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like you need to.
They should be writing notes.
You need to just understand that you're gonna have to commit to a process. Like this shit ain't the movies.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like don't let nobody gas you up. And actually, while I'm on that topic,
Let nobody gas you up out your
Listen.
money that you lose.
listen, man. Look. I have a couple of issues with a couple of companies, not personally.
Acorn.
But just
Robin Hood.
but just from a presentation standpoint.
Okay.
As far as people, what have they bought you to thinking that you the same?
Let me
Right.
hear who
So of course you can imagine I get a lot of questions about
Yeah.
should you use this or should you use that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so all of them shits is cool. All of them joints is cool. Robinhood, whatever you want to use, that shit's cool, man. If you know how to read a chart. If you don't know how to read a stock chart, my girl, my guy, you gambling.
Right. Because
You know what
then
I'm
you
saying?
Gambling.
And then
And y'all got mad at me
this is
when I
what and
said
this is
it.
what's gonna happen psychologically, right? They're gonna bait you into thinking that you know more than you know. You're gonna put your real money into it. You're gonna lose your real money, and then you're gonna come away with the stigma or the impression
That it
that
don't work.
day trading is a scam and the shit
Yeah.
don't work. So
Okay.
this is how the shit works. It's no different than anything else that you want to be successful at. Learn from somebody who knows what the fuck they doing. Absorb that knowledge and go practice it. There's not one professional walking this planet or dead that did not spend countless hours on whatever craft
Right.
that it is that they was trying to master.
You have to learn it.
So if you don't want to put in the work of looking at charts just to be looking at them, to understand whatever instrument you're trading, if you don't want to do the necessary work, whatever that work might be,
leave it alone.
just leave it alone and go and go do whatever it is that you're doing. And that's not no diss. That's just saying that this is just, it ain't for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
But I will tell you this, the shit is not rocket science. It's just a little different than what you do.
And you got to commit to learning it.
You got to commit to learning. Look, there's nothing that you know today that you knew before you knew it.
Yeah. Ain't nothing.
Walking.
Look, I
talking,
just planted
reading.
a garden. Well, I'm starting to plant a garden. And I guarantee you
And
that
Tony has a brown thumb.
I have killed.
I mean, that's unreal.
I have killed every. I was going into that. You didn't have to say. I have killed every single fucking plant that I have ever.
But what's the difference
had.
in this time?
The difference in this time is because
You ask somebody.
I am not going to give up.
You had
number one.
You had experience.
And you ask somebody
You had
who
some
does
sort
it.
of practice. You had some sort of fucking practice.
I had
where you
some
made,
practice
where you
to
made
know
some
what
mistakes,
happened
where
this
you
time.
made some mistakes. Right.
This poinsettia I had since Christmas. It really was thriving, and then one day I set it outside, and the squirrels were trying to eat my bird seeds. And y'all know this podcast. Y'all know the squirrels. They tried to eat my bird seeds, and it knocked over my poinsettia, and it crushed. Okay, so it
Then
died.
you learned your lesson about
But I learned my lesson. Don't do that shit. So now, what I understood is that I asked my neighbor who was planting something,
The
and
Guatemalans.
who came over there. No, the ones to the other side.
Gotcha.
They would never be able to speak to me. So we tried. But the other side, I asked these questions and different things like that. Hello, if you are trying to start a garden or anything, please start small. Don't think that you are about to become George Washington Carver overnight. So,
Washington Carver?
Yes.
The inventor of peanuts?
Yeah, but it was in the garden.
I mean, wait, he didn't invent peanuts.
It was like a greenhouse and stuff.
You listen, I was at George Washington Carver Elementary School, so I know better.
But he grew stuff, and it stumbled upon peanuts. Right. So, but if you go to any garden place in Home Depot, Lowe's, or anything, and you ask anybody, I'm telling you, I have done this. First of all, I have lived in this section for the past 2 weeks. That somebody was like, "Oh, so you work there now?" I won't tell you who said it, but they are the nicest people, and they want you to have a nice garden. They will help you. They will answer your questions.
That's because you went to somebody who knew what to do about what you're doing.
But you can
and
tell.
You can tell.
You can tell who know what to do. They walk different. Me, I'm walking in,
nervous,
looking and reading everything, and then you look over, you got somebody that's like, right. Papping things over their shoulder. That's who, and I was like, ooh, and then I just say out loud like this. You know, I'm very manipulative. I just go like, ooh, I don't even know if this is the right soil. What did they say? Did they say like topsoil? And then somebody be like, what you trying to do? I'm telling you, each time it works. And I was like, I'm trying to start a flower bed. And they were like, well, this is what you need. They will stop. People who like are in their yards, who are
when they're passionate about something.
When they're passionate about
guess
something.
what color they was?
White.
No.
Black.
Women. Well, don't get me started about black women in the way that
men. No, it was a mixture. That's why I was so surprised.
The women came first.
Because I didn't never see nobody growing up doing no gardens now until I moved into the affluent middle class black neighborhood that I live in. I see people. My neighbor is the one I talk to. The next neighbor, guess what she told me today? Our next neighbor knows how to do the rose bushes, so you want to talk to her, like you said. And then I was like, well, you know what she could do? This is what I said. She could start a YouTube and people would capitalize on your knowledge.
Drake still to this day on his page gets free game literally every morning. Literally. Yeah. Every morning.
Every morning.
All you
gotta do is ask questions.
Literally.
And you gotta just start.
All you gotta do is ask questions because
tap in,
for him, he's already created a way to monetize his knowledge. Mm-hmm. So if it would be crazy of someone who is sitting in a place where they got furloughed right now.
Right.
Where that wasn't T. Where they got furloughed right now, or now you may have your hours got cut. Maybe you're working the same job, but your hours got cut. Or listen, maybe you got the unemployment check plus the extra $600.
Yep, and you got time now.
And you have time.
So man, think about it. You're talking about the economy. This is not a casino.
Right, it's not a casino.
So a casino can run wild with you. Right. As long as you got money to lose, they'll take it.
Yeah.
Right.
The economy doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to devalue something or get rid of something, it's always going to try to fight its way back to what's called middle price. Okay. So this is why you have the up and down movement in the market, right?
Okay.
When it's really high, people think that it's overbought. You're paying too much, and when it's low, people think it's oversold. It's selling for too low, and they're always trying to fight their way back to that middle or fair price. This is why you have the up and down movement. This is why, again, this is the only thing that I've ever seen in my life that has the potential to be recession proof. Mm-hmm. Just think about it this way. On its most basic level, every transaction has at least two sides. It's going to be a buyer and a seller on its most basic level. So how many, or I'll phrase it this way. How many times have you been looking at the news and shit was supposedly bad and you muttered to yourself or you mumbled to yourself, I know somebody making money off this shit.
Yeah, all the time.
The time, right?
Every time.
I'm one of them people. Because when the market,
now you looking.
When the market,
hey, your two nephews, they shoes. Okay.
But the thing is, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to say that there is you can learn how to make money when the market goes down. You can buy something first. Excuse me. You can sell it first and then buy it back at a lower price, and the difference in the two is your profit. An example of that is if you pre-order something.
Okay.
You went to the store.
Right.
You gave them your money early for something that
Before they haven't had it.
They don't even have the video game that you went to go pre-order, right? They're going to come back and get that shit later.
Right.
You're going to give them $50, but they're going to go back to the supplier and pay $25 for it. That $25 difference is their profit.
Okay.
That's how you sell something first and then go buy it back for a cheaper price later and make a profit. That's a quick analogy on how to do it, but you don't even really need to know that much. All you need to truthfully know is that when price gets to a level, or if you learn how to read a stock chart and price gets to a point where it's having a hard time getting above that point, then it's very likely about to go down. So if your broker or your exchange or whatever you're using gives you the option to do what's called a sell or a put or sell your position first,
Okay.
not to get out of it, but to get into it. If you're able to sell it, you can make money when the market goes down.
So someone said, how many hours do you have to commit to doing
Oh my
this?
God, that was my 5th question. Thank you,
That
whoever
was your-
said that.
Okay, so look, since we on your list, all right.
I'm
so,
sorry, that was the 5th question.
All right, for sure, but
How
I'm
much
answer-
time do you have to dedicate?
How much time? All right, so I'm gonna answer them first, and I'm gonna get on your
Okay,
list. So
let's not interrupt him. 5 points of the question. Let him ask the
No,
question.
you're good. So
No, because I need to. My husband is watching this. So I need to.
For sure. So how much time? Truthfully, with anything that you want to master, as much as you can invest,
Okay.
and make as much time as you can invest. But to specifically answer your question, at minimum, you want to give yourself at least an hour a day.
Okay.
An hour a day.
An hour is nothing.
At
That's
minimum,
nothing.
at minimum, you want to give yourself an hour a day and focus on whatever topic it is that about trading that it is that you want to get an overstanding
To
about,
learn
right?
it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if you want to learn exactly what support and resistance is and how to determine what that is, spend your hour. Don't
Learning
go
that.
jumping around all over the place. Spend your hour on that topic.
Okay.
That would be a definitive answer. But the honest answer is really, when I was learning how to do this shit, I did everything I could to try to find time to be in front of my laptop.
Because you wanted
Okay.
to do it.
That meant I was up late when I was
have
sleeping.
to be dedicated.
I'm just being honest with you. That meant that, and you got to understand something too. When I came into this, it was like 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. So when I came in, there was like hella multi-level marketers, and they were basically going on YouTube. They'll listen to a video, they'll regurgitate some shit that something they done heard, and then they'll try to sell somebody a product or a service. They weren't really doing this to pay a bill. You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't fall victim to any of those people, but because my mother's a librarian and I'm an avid reader, I could pick up on the fact that you're just really talking shit. Like you're using words that you don't know what they mean.
Right. Oh, I know.
You dig what I'm saying?
I definitely know.
Right, you're using words you don't really know what they mean, but I knew that you was using the right words.
Right.
So I took that and I just started doing my own homework. So how much time? As much time as you can possibly invest into it to be great.
Do your groundwork.
Do your groundwork.
Y'all have to do groundwork. Value line.
And yo, listen.
Value
listen.
line.
So look. I got
free.
look. Oh, it is.
It is free at the library.
So look, I'm gonna tell y'all a story about Value Line. Value Line was
We're not
something.
gonna tell you the business.
We're not going to tell you the
Nah,
business
of course
why
not.
we know
Of
Value
course
Line.
not.
But look how
No,
valuable that
of
was.
course not.
No,
The trip, right?
listen to his story about Value Line.
The trip, right? So when we worked at that godforsaken place that we used to
Yes.
work at, the sunken place, right? So when what
I was going to say, I feel like I selected you to be on Value Line specifically.
you did, I think you did. Yeah, I think you did.
But listen, tripped out how his life came full circle.
So this is how the universe worked, right? So when we all started working together, there was a product that we dealt with called Value Line, and that shit is basically a stock report. And the only people who were called in to order this shit were old white guys.
Rich old white guys.
Rich old white guys.
Yep.
And we're not gonna front like we don't know what the fuck you are when you pick up the phone. We
Yeah.
all
We
know.
can
So
tell.
we're not gonna act funny. So they were all old white guys, right? So when I started at this place, he gave me that assignment, and I found out what these people were ordering, and I immediately was interested. And I forget how, but somehow or another, I think somebody might have asked me a question. and I needed to answer the customer's question, and I needed to go get one of these value line papers. And actually, I believe it was actually one of y'all two who took me to the file cabinet, right, to go find it.
I probably was using Value Line to wipe my ass.
It more than likely was me because Value Line was my client.
It was his client.
This goes to exposure and what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, timing and all that. But anyway, point is this: I found out that the office had literally file cabinets of these reports
that we were just throwing away.
They literally were using these shits like if an employee was moving to a new apartment or a house or some shit, they would come get like an armful of Value Line papers and go like
I used it for my apartment when I moved on Collier Road.
See?
Yeah. And then we would put them in Iron Mountain.
That shit too.
But ultimately,
we give it to the companies. They go research.
Value Line had, we had.
Right.
So my point in bringing you reminding me of them was that I saw that as an opportunity to learn some more shit. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm saying. It's like for first and foremost, if you want to learn this, just find as much time as you can to put into it. If there's an avenue where you can get some solid information, just pick it up and start reading it. It'll make sense somehow, some way. And if you have somebody like myself, contact me or them or whoever they might be, and we'll break it down for you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't contact me. I'm gonna send it right to him.
But have a thirst for the information.
You have to be.
You got to be dedicated.
You got to be determined.
So
you have to be determined.
So riddle me this, because I really want people to get these these things. So how much money, I'm asking you as a person, right?
We on capital.
How much money do I need to really invest into this as a person who may not be ready to do this full time like you do? Just like a side hustle.
So, first of all, this kind of is the answer to your question. Before we get to the money, you need to be educated first.
Okay.
And there's ways to do that. You can get with somebody like me or whoever you find that you feel is reputable. But get educated on how to read the market.
Before you start throwing your money
everywhere. Before you start, because most of these platforms have a way for you to practice. Mm-hmm. You need to utilize that.
Okay.
If you can't make money in a practice scenario, you're probably not going to do it in a real life scenario.
Right.
So utilize. Don't let the internet gas you up, man. Utilize that practice. All right. Utilize whatever they give you to practice. All right. So anyway, you've practiced. You've gotten educated. So now it's time for you to start doing this shit for real. You want to start with probably nothing less than with the brokers I use and the exchanges I use, probably about $1,000.
That's nothing.
Now, one is not nothing, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's really not a lot of money.
What if $1,000 is something to somebody?
Okay.
What is another number? Is
there
it
is no
other number, or is $1,000?
He said you need to find a way to save.
I'm not going to even say not for you. Is
not period.
Not period. Thank you.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
So $1,000 is the lowest threshold
at a minimum.
Okay.
And this is all depending on who you're using to trade with. Obviously,
right. Hold on. Is it depending on, or is $1,000?
Well, that's what I'm about to tell you. That's what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
So it depends on who you're using to trade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own little requirements about deposit amounts and account and all that stuff.
Because it could be more.
It could be more.
Okay.
It depends on who you use, but there are people out here where you can legit, like the exchange that I use, you can actually start with the deposit of as little as $200.
Okay.
Now, the reason I say $1,000 is because when you're trading, something that the internet is not going to tell you, the people who try to sell you the smoke, sell you the pipe dream, every single day trader, today I took a loss. Every single day trader has to manage a losing position. Mm-hmm. So if you understand that, you need to have enough money to be able to manage that losing position and still have money to come back into the market and take advantage of the opportunity.
That's another word, y'all. Don't know how to just win. You gotta understand how to lose.
You have to know how to. Because really, truth be told, it's really not a loss. It's really. I mean, and then that kind of goes back to your perception about money. Think about it. If you're doing this shit from home, you're not spending gas money. You're not buying work clothes. This shit really, to me, is just the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
That's just really what it is, because you're not going to be 100% right all the time.
Right.
So it's all about how you manage the losing position. It's not a matter of whether or not you're gonna have it. It's how you manage it.
And even in your regular money, there are things that come up that inevitably you have to throw away or manage because something comes up that you have to spend it. Mm-hmm. Same scenario.
Mm-hmm. So, At least $1,000 for that reason. You want to be able to withstand a loss and still be able to come, like, even if it's immediately, it might be 5 minutes from that point. Even if it, you want to be able to come back in and take advantage of the market without having to go in your pocket and put more money in your account. Right.
Okay.
Which is why I say stop bullying people into spending what they don't have into trading, because you understanding you're not willing to let someone know that there is a risk. Because if you, like you said, if you don't have it to come back in, that means you just threw away.
You gamble.
Yo, $1,200.
You're gambling.
Well, you're gambling because you're banking on the fact that you're gonna make riches out of pennies, and it don't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
There's a process to it. There's a discipline.
Can't pay the penny slots like me.
Right. There's a discipline.
That's all I do for the free drinks.
Yeah, and see, and the funny thing is, I don't play none of that shit. I play high limit baccarat.
I'm not gonna do that. $20.
Okay, so
$20
next time you
is
go to
my
Vegas,
limit.
let me
in
go and I'm
gambling.
gonna sit next to you and I'm gonna get the drinks.
Yeah. $20 is my limit in gambling, because to
40 for me.
it feels like I'm throwing away my money.
But that's what gambling.
But would it if you knew that there was a process to it?
Right.
Yes, at $19, I should win $20.
So if I'm playing,
If I lose all 20,
You're
but
out.
see, this
I'm
is
out.
where.
And I better be drunk enough
This is
by
where the
then.
numbers come in, because like when you play baccarat, right? It's totally off.
I don't even know what that is. I thought
It's-
that
it's-
was like
It's a card game.
an edible thing.
So I don't know if any of y'all go to Vegas or play
that's
baccarat,
baklava.
but if there's any baccarat fans, whatever. But anyway, so think about the numbers. Like when you play baccarat, it's more likely a chance that you have a banker and a player hand, right? You can bet on either one. It's more likely that you're going to be a banker than a player. So if you bet $300 a hand versus that little, if you're incrementally losing 50 versus winning lump sums of 30, like I want my lump sums of 300.
I would love,
But I'm only
lump
gonna
sums of
do that. But I'm
300.
only gonna do that when I have a process to go by.
when you
Dre,
have a process
Dre
to
is
go
speaking
by.
beyond my.
Okay, so anyway,
So this has to be a part two.
Yeah, we're
It
gonna
has
go part
to be
two.
a
So
part
let me
two.
get these five for you. So let me
Okay.
get these five for you.
Every guest we're gonna have, but it's fine because
This, and even if you're up to it, that it has to turn into a part 3.
No, we can do 2, 3, 4, whatever.
This
man. Like,
is
whatever, man.
one subject, y'all, that we are not afforded to. And anytime I talk
I'll
about
even be a
education,
financial person on
anytime I talk about education, and
Yeah.
you can attest to this, I say we are not focused. Y'all do not fight for the right things to be inside your schools. There is no reason why there is not a fiscal, financially responsible type of curriculum that is put into our schools when this country is capitalistic. There is no reason why you live in a capitalistic country and it is not a requirement to understand capitalism.
Well, that should make perfect sense if
They know
want-
why, because
Right.
they pigeonhole you
Right.
okay.
into
So-
not knowing
So
it.
you need about $1,000 to get started.
Continue to
You
run
need-
the.
I have to reel him inside. We
Got
need
you.
about
Okay, I
$1,000
got
to
you.
get started. The
All right,
more
so
time
next-
you want to put in is the more education you get out of it. What other
All right.
question I asked you? 'Cause I know.
So you asked what was the best way to start as far as
Okay.
growing
Best
the
way to
money.
start.
So you heard me say a couple of times use the word compounding.
Mm-hmm.
So think about interest and how that shit would negatively affect you in banking terms.
Okay.
You can do the reverse with your profit.
Okay.
So what you said what was the best way to go about growing your money or trying to
Right.
grow your account? So when you start with something like $1,000, $2,000, like we already determined, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a lot of money, right?
Okay.
So when you're trading, when you get to the point where you want to start trading for real, and not even that, but when you're practicing, you want to, because you always want to practice like you're doing it for real.
Right.
You start very, very, very small.
Okay.
So if you have $1,000 in your account for one position, you only want to use. I don't use the word spend. I use the word leverage or invest. You want to use maybe about $100 to maybe about $150 at the
Okay.
maximum, right? And on that $100 to $150, you only want to take a loss of about 50% of it. So let's say you used $100, but you can do that too though.
Okay.
But that's the thing about trading, like you can do that too. So let's say that you have that $1,000 to use, right? And you know that for you to feel comfortable, again, this is all part of taking stress out of your process. If you know that you can comfortably lose $20 a day,
Okay.
without breaking a sweat, without hurting nothing,
I could do that.
right? Okay, so
A lot of us could do that. I'm glad that you
No, you
said
can
it.
because you
I'm
fuck it
glad
up
you
on
said
Amazon.
it in that particular context. Because a lot of us can afford to lose $20 a day because we spend $20 a day on shit
All kinds of
that
shit.
we knew that we shouldn't have spent that $20 on.
Right.
So we can
And switch
actually
your
afford
discipline.
it. Okay.
you can afford so don't believe the hype about you can't afford to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You can afford to do this. The money is there. It's just going to something that is a non-necessity.
Okay.
So anyway, so you have this $1,000, you're using this $100, and of that $100, you only want to take a loss of $50.
Okay.
So if your trade goes negative $50, you're automatically out no matter what it is, and the other 50 goes back to your account.
Okay.
Right? So now you're in a position to keep trading. So let's say you're winning, right?
Okay.
You're making profitable trades, right? How you grow that account simply is you compound it. So for a very simple explanation is the first 30 days you use $100 to make a $25 profit,
Okay.
right? And you do that for 30 days. You don't touch that $25 a day.
Okay. $25 a day is a lot in profit.
And you have 20 days a month. You have Monday through Friday. So you have 20 days a month. So you have 25 times 20.
Right.
Whatever that number is, that's what you've made in that month.
Okay.
The following month, you don't go crazy and buy 5 and 10 and 15 positions. You only buy one more.
One more. Okay.
And you make the same. You repeat the process that you were taught to do. You repeat that process and you make the same $25, but this time, this 30 days, it's $25 times 2.
Okay.
Now, it can get more complicated than that, but that is a very simple analogy on how, or explanation of how you compound your account. Next 30 days, you buy one more contract, you make another $25, but this month, it's 25 times 3. So on month 1, you made $25 a day. On month 2, you made $50 a day. On month
And then
3,
it
you
just
made
keeps
$75
going.
a day. And every month, you're literally giving yourself a 100%, not dollar, a 100% raise every month.
Every month.
And this is where the discipline comes in at, and don't do what I would do. Like I'm another story going back to that. Well, we're not going to tell it, but going back to that place that we talking about, I've always known that 9 to 5s don't work for me. So I'll quit your job like it ain't shit. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't do that. This is when the discipline comes in.
Of sticking to it.
Sticking to that shit that you don't fuck with
you
to
don't
get
fuck
the
with.
to
Right.
get the money to do
Because
what you do fuck with.
Now you're consistent. Now you're making money. Now you need to really enact your exit plan from your 9 to 5. So you keep working the 9 to 5 because now it's a matter of that check is now funding what you're doing. It's not a necessity
And the
anymore.
thing-
and
That's
not
what
going
you
to
need.
a couch
Yeah.
Right.
that you be
But-
in your bedroom anyway.
But more importantly, you're no longer in survival mode.
Exactly.
You're living.
You're living.
You're buying sneakers all the time.
But actually-
not that I'm calling out Dre Mitchell.
But I'm not gonna even say that you're living yet. You're out of survival mode. And
I mean,
say,
look, everybody has their vice.
Yes.
I would say that you're not necessarily living. You're not in survival mode. Now you are in
You're on a whole different-
planning mode.
Yes.
So you continue to work your job, and whatever routine you've made for yourself that works for you to continue to allow you to trade, you keep doing that.
Okay.
And I would suggest you do that for another at least 6 months.
Okay.
I would really say 12. But if you can take 12, cool. But again, you're giving yourself 100% raise every month. So yeah, it is going to get to a point where you have far surpassed your paycheck every
Right.
month.
Right.
And now you need to really start
Doesn't
planning
even
your-
make sense to be
right,
there.
exactly, because now the time is the money, and you need to take that time and you need to put it into what's
Into
more
what you're
profitable,
doing.
Right.
which is the trading.
Right.
Okay.
So, but that's essentially how it should go for you now. And now, again, that is obviously more easier said than done. And this is where that black tax comes in. This is where you can't separate the two. This is why I said I try not to get too deep about it. But if you really want the real for real, you black. Everything you do gonna be different.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
different.
Like
everything.
every way that you have to save money is gonna be different.
Right.
Every way that you cut bills is gonna be different.
Yeah.
The way that you find time to learn how to do this shit because of your other responsibilities, because of simply the fucking fact that they do shit differently to you because you
Yeah.
black, all of that results in the way you learn this shit is gonna be different.
Right.
So don't fall in love with that shit, man. Like, don't get caught up in the fact that, oh man, this shit is gonna take me so long. Because the fact of the matter is, you won't make $1 if you don't learn how to do it the right way.
The right way, you will lose all that.
You will blow.
Have.
Listen, that. And again, not a diss at all, but we all know that $1,200 ain't a lot of money.
It's not.
So that $1,200, it wasn't a lot of money when it was making you money.
Baby, you ain't pay my
but
two
let you
mortgages,
fuck
honey.
around and lose that $1,200.
Yes.
Now it's a hell of a lot
now
of money.
it's really
It's a hell of a lot of money
that you just
fucked it off
poured
because
down the drain.
you didn't take the time
$1,200 ain't nothing.
But it's a lot.
$1,200. I could spend $1,200
right now.
I
Groceries.
spent $1,200. But like, no, really, I spent $1,200.
No, I can spend $1,200
over
in 2 hours.
3
Give me 2 hours, and not on some
necessity
things
shit.
that I think that I
some
need.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like literally, what me and my family. First of all, I don't know if y'all seen my husband. My husband's a big dude.
So we gotta eat.
I birthed big dudes.
Yeah.
They eat.
I can spend
I like the
$1,200 on food.
If you're listening to the podcast, you did not see the motion.
The motion was them being big dudes, and I'm a big girl, so like I can spend at least.
Strong J motion.
Yes, I'm Strong J. I'm Strong J. I'm birthing up the perfume. No, but seriously, I can spend.
That's what that series called. After.
The $1,200 now.
So
I took it, but it didn't do shit.
Because a lot of people, when people got the stimulus, I saw and I really advocated against, and people tried to say, "Oh, blase, blase." I advocated against because I said, "Do not fall into a trap of looking at Facebook memes to let someone guilt you." And I say guilt because, you know, we love to say, "Oh, you stupid," or you guilt you into doing something that you do not understand. Because if the $1,200 was something that you didn't do anything to earn or knew that you were going to get, that means that you don't have to spend it.
Please know that you're gonna pay that back. Okay.
You're going to pay it back, but you don't have to spend it.
You don't.
So that means that you can hold on to it and reach out to someone like Dre. Reach out to...
You can invest it instead of spending
or
it.
invest
And
first
invest
in
in
your
education.
time
And education.
and learning what to do with the $1,200 that you just received out of thin air to utilize it in the best way.
Right.
People was like buying, I bought 1 share of Apple. I bought 1 share of. I was like,
so for those people who
I
did
don't
that,
even know shit about trading and know that was stupid.
For those people who did that, you know, did you know how to read the chart though? Did you
just
actually
doing shit.
Did you actually know that it was a good time to? Did you do any analysis to have a good to know that it was a good time to buy, or did you just think that, you know what, because the market is falling, it must be a good time to buy?
Right.
Well,
These companies.
Falling. The market is falling.
well, see, the
It's a
thing
good time.
is okay. So that actually is a really good segue into one of your other points, or one of your other questions was misconceptions. So a misconception is buy low, sell high is how you trade the market. Buy low, sell high is some bullshit.
Fuck the. Oh, we have a record. Because I was about to fuck the dumb shit. I need to take a.
We recording this?
No, I'm saying I was about to take notes, but he's like,
mean,
we have a
of course.
recording.
We're live.
I can
sure.
do this. Go on.
sure.
I'm sorry.
So
Which is why he's not going deep into the level, because he's a businessman. If y'all notice, he going into the soil, but he's not
exposing.
going into where the roots are going to grab hold.
Y'all
Which
have
I
to pay
need
to
to
play.
reach out to
mean, you
him,
know.
because what did I say earlier? The support is the true sacrifice.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Misconceptions. So first thing that comes to mind is buy low or sell high is some bullshit. The market, and I'm gonna give you proof of this just in the past 180
Man, I'm about to
days.
quit this podcast, so I'm about to get day traded.
Right. Fuck
All right.
y'all. We about to day trade. No, we are about to day trade, and behind us is going to be a gold emblem of Epic Podcast cast in 24 karat gold. Because I day traded with Dre.
There you go. Please believe it. So Trip, right? Buy low, sell high is bullshit. And the reason is that the market can always get higher and it can always get lower. And I'll give you proof of that just in the past since this pandemic shit started. Mm-hmm. So if you go back, and I didn't bring my laptop, but you can go back a few months. Mm-hmm. Go back in the news, go back whatever you want to look at. And they were talking about how the markets were at all-time highs. The markets are making rallies. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up. We're at all-time highs.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we're at lows, it's falling, we're at all-time lows. My point of bringing that up is every week there was a new high. Okay. The news was telling you, oh my God, this is it.
Right. This is the highest of the highs.
The market is going to hit this number and they're going to fall.
The highest it's ever
And then they hit that number and it kept going up. Mm-hmm. Nope, we're going to hit 31. We're going to hit the S&P 500 because that's my favorite. So we're going to hit 3,000 on the S&P 500 and we're taking a nosedive. So they hit 3,000 and it kept going. We get to 3,100. It's as high as it's going to go. We're going to fall. And it kept going. We got as high as 33.45 and something like that.
What does that mean? We don't...
That means... No. Don't explain that because that ensures that part 2...
Okay, so you want to come back. Part 2. Okay, all right, I'm going to give y'all some game part 2. I'm going to give y'all game in part 2.
Okay. But that's why I had repeated the S&P 500.
S&P 500.
Because we're going to pick up on part 2.
Yeah. So, anyway, my point is that every time they told you that was it got a little bit higher. Okay. When it fell, every time they told you that, hey, you know what, because the market was going so high, it's only falling a little bit. Right. It's going to bounce back. Okay. And it kept falling. 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 Well, now we're actually almost all the way back up to those all-time highs. If you've been paying attention, we've been all the way back up.
And they haven't been in the media about that, the fact that the stock market, because so many people started buying into it too. Right. Too many people who never bought into it started buying into it, so they stopped talking about it.
Right. So a misconception is buying low and selling high. You always want to wait to see if it's going to get as low as it's going to go before you buy something, or you want to just, if you're unsure about how high it's going to go, just sit back and wait. Okay. You know what I mean? So another misconception, like I've said many times during the podcast, this isn't rocket science, man. It's just different than your normal way of thinking about money. Okay. Normally, your day-to-day is you're looking for the lowest price to get the most value out of something. Or if you're a salesman or an entrepreneur, you're trying to do something, you're trying to get some product or service or produce a product or service at the lowest price possible to be able to sell it at a profit at a higher price. Your normal day-to-day is not to sell something first and buy it back at a lower price. Right. Okay. That's not your normal day-to-day activity. Okay. So is it hard to learn? No, it's not hard to learn. You just need to understand that it's just an inverted way of thinking about how money moves around. It's not hard. You just got to commit to it. The fact that it's expensive to do this, I just told you, literally, you could start with about $1,000 if you're in a position to start with real money. Okay. And if you're not in a position to start with real money, these practice accounts give you what's called paper money, which is play money. Treat it like a real account.
So you can learn how to do it before you're ready to actually
do it.
Absolutely.
So there's no excuse.
So for those of you who think that you have to lose money to make money in this, or lose money to learn how to do it, you're not losing any money because you should be using your practice accounts. Right. And as far as what you pay somebody like myself or whomever it is that you've decided to pay to teach you, right? Again, that goes back to the perception part. You really need to shift how you think about money. That's an investment. That's not an expenditure.
Right.
That's an investment. And I'll prove to you that's an investment because with people who own businesses, we try to get rid of money at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. This is why, because that lowers your tax. And I'm not a tax professional.
You don't pay more.
Right. I'm not a tax professional. I'm just saying that
you get rid of money.
A little piece of game is that when it's time for tax time, people who own businesses, they get rid of that shit.
Yeah. That's where your end of year sales come from.
Right. Yeah. Because see, that's the thing is like And that's an investment for them, which is a write-off for them, and it's a profit for me. So it all works hand in hand.
Right.
Okay.
You get educated, you spent some money, I made some money, you lowered your taxable income. You get what I'm saying? It all fucking works. It all fucking works. But my point in the perception part is when you spend money to learn something, that's an investment. So fuck the purses right now. Fuck the sneakers right now. The pistol. Well, not the pistols.
Again,
Not the pistols. Get the pistols.
I wear
Buy
a
the pistols.
41 and
Get the
Gucci
pistols.
slides.
But
Support the boosters. They are starting their entrepreneurial aspirations.
maybe they're trying to get the $100,000
Look,
capital.
And boosters, do
Man,
not
look,
play
man,
with us
man.
because we know where y'all got that from.
One of my friends is looking for Kristen Dior slides, and she also wears a 41.
Yeah.
So misconceptions. That's a few of the misconceptions. There's
Okay.
a lot of them, but one more I want to touch on before we go on is that this shit is not some get rich quick type of thing.
It might be.
You-
exactly.
You need to
like
be able to.
any investment.
You need to be able to give it time to, first of all, learn what you're doing. And then when you're at the point of actually using real money, you need to give it time to work for you.
Because
No
you're
way.
going to lose your real money.
Right, if you don't do that. Education, we kind of touched on that already. Make sure you got a really good education about what you're doing before you actually put your real money out there. How to live like this, that is when you start playing the money game, the money management game. Once you get good at your trading and how you get in and out of the market and collecting a profit, now it's time for you to really implement those capital management practices.
Okay.
Things like, one, making sure you're managing your trades properly, getting in and out with as small of a loss as possible, making sure you're maximizing your gains. But in terms of your bills, you definitely want to cut those. And I'm not talking about any quality of life kind of stuff.
Okay.
You're just doing things differently.
Just
You know what I'm
a
saying?
couple of things different.
I mean, whatever
Can you do
that
this
means.
as just a side hustle if you wanted to? Or
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
And just a little thing, and just changing your life in small ways, sometimes it maximizes so much of the capital that you need. Because during this quarantine, a lot of people, some people spent, and I'll even say this, I spent money in different ways that actually enhanced me. I invested in my home. I invested in me. So we saw that we were able to do this, and you saw how much money we were able to quickly redirect to still fucking spend, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now that we get into that,
Redirecting money.
we're redirecting money into this bullshit, into shit that could actually make
Well, I
us
touched
money.
on that like when I was talking this episode up because I was really excited because I like learning how to do new stuff. Like don't give me a fish plate, teach me how to fish.
Right.
So I can keep eating. So one thing I will say is that, there's things out there now that are like blackout, don't spend your money here, don't spend your money there. And I get it. I understand it. But I feel like for me, it's not a blackout, it's a redirect.
It's a redirect.
So
Spend your money.
So instead of me spending my money at whatever, then I take it and either invest it to me, right? Or I spend it where I invest into a black
my community.
business or community. And
Because
it's
you
like,
were going to spend it anyway. And that's why that is the easiest sacrifice. And the reason why I say sacrifice is because we know you motherfuckers is going to come with, oh, the customer service. Oh, the prices are a little higher. Oh, this. Oh, that. This is a sacrifice because I guarantee you, when you can pour into a business, they are able to make a profitable, sustainable business, their prices come down.
Well, the thing too,
and their quality may raise up because
Raise
now
up.
they hired their cousin Keisha.
And they see that people are coming back. You being a one-time customer means nothing to a black company. And
Right.
people wonder why their cost is so high is because they don't have
production
as
side.
many
Right.
customers because
It's
you
volume.
guys want to riot and still go to Walmart. The Waltons have like $20 to $40 billion each. They don't need them on motherfucking money.
Sam Watson is boiling.
So my thing is that's why the prices go up. So it is a sacrifice, redirecting. Y'all want to find out how to day trade, there are a few black people who know how to do it, who can make you some money to then spend it in more black businesses who can provide you everything that you purchase. There is a grocer, there is everything that you purchase right now
that you can find in a way to be local.
Yo, listen.
if you
man,
wanted to sacrifice.
this money thing is like a real thing, man, and to be black and to be more specific, to be a descendant of a slave, is
Free labor.
right. Like the
You
thing,
about to unravel my cornrows.
yeah, man. Like I ain't really about to get too deep into it. All I'm gonna say is that
Why every episode we
We
gotta
finna
have a part two?
we finna have to cut his mic off.
all I'm gonna say is that when it comes to this game, man, like if you're black in America, it's probably, especially if you're not, and half my family is Jamaican, so I get the whole island connection. But the fact of the matter is this: if your family, for the past maybe 2-3 generations, you're a descendant of a slave if they started here, and the dynamic of everything you do is very fucking different. It's very, very, very different. There's even black communities abroad that don't accept you simply because you are an American black person who is a descendant.
You were the blacks who got caught.
Right, you was the one who got caught. You know what I mean? Or maybe the ones who didn't fight back or couldn't fight back.
Right.
Because
You're the weak ones.
Again, I'm half Jamaican, so we got maroons, and we killed the ones who tried to run after us. They ran up in the mountains and got slaughtered.
Yes,
but
and
anyway,
you guys are still kind of aggressive in that.
yeah, please believe it. Okay. So, but anyway, I said all that to say that the exposure's here, the opportunity's there. Don't let the shit pass you by. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to learn how to do something like day trade or invest in something. Don't just let your money sit around and just wait to get spent. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something with it. Preferably invest in yourself. And if you're not going to invest in yourself, then invest in someone that you feel has a reputable business, a grocery store, salon, a bar, whatever the case may be, someone who look like you.
A podcast.
Try to do something, let's just try to do something a little different, man. But me personally, my second cousin was the exposure for me.
Okay.
With this as a kid. And I never let go of it. And I had instances such as like Value Line and things like that all throughout my life at different points. That just kept bringing, somehow it just brought me back to it. Hopefully I'm that exposure to anybody watching to let you, and so man, I taught myself. You know what I'm saying?
See?
Like, I taught myself because when I came into it, I wasn't in an environment where I could find a trustworthy mentor because everybody was on some
wanted something from you in order to teach it to you.
Right. And again, it's like it wasn't even a matter. I didn't mind paying for it. It's just I couldn't find anybody reputable.
Right. Because I'm not going to give you blowing my money.
Relatable.
Right. Or relatable. Right. Or relatable. And
because some people who are not relatable take advantage, and because they sound like they know what they're talking about, we believe it.
Hold on, and I don't even know if we're at the end of that, but before I wrap up the 5 points, though, I'm gonna say something to everybody who's looking for somebody who wants to. If you're looking to be educated on how to do this, this is just my personal opinion. All of this shit is my personal opinion, but if they are explaining some shit to you about this that you can't explain to your kids, I think that they're gaming you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make anything as complicated as you want to make it. I can make everything I just talked about tonight. I could literally make that, and I know the complicated jargon.
Beyond your comprehension.
I know the jargon. I know what it means. I know how to actually use those words because I know what I'm doing, right? I could make this shit sound like I got the most mental muscle in the world, right? But that's not what I want. I don't want you stuck on the tit waiting to pay me for this and pay me for that repeatedly. I don't want a repeat fucking customer. I want you to learn how to do this so that you can fly on your own.
Okay.
So that's kind of my thing. If you can't take what you're learning, or what if the person can't explain it to you in layman's terms, then there's probably something else to whatever it is that they're doing. If whatever it is that they're trying to get you to do, IML, if whatever it is they're trying to get you to do involves you recruiting people, if it involves you, IML, if it involves you, and that's not my Red Bull and Tito's. That's something I mean from the heart, because I know several people who've been taken for a lot of money with IML. So, and they won't. Not only won't they deal with me, but they won't deal with anybody reputable. Not because they don't want to deal with us. They can't afford to now because they got took for so much money.
Right. Wow.
So if they're asking you to recruit people, point is this: if the focus is not teaching you how to do this shit so you can do it yourself,
then that ain't the point.
Question everything that they're teaching you.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you that they're reputable. I'm not telling you that they're not reputable, except for IML. So
okay,
it's fine. I know who I'm at, so fuck you.
I market Live. That's who I'm talking about. The name of the company is iMarkets Live.
Okay. So allegedly.
So that's
specifically.
No, specifically. I'm going to say allegedly.
California specifically.
We don't have the capital to be.
I mean, but it is what it is.
And I
said it. I said it. They didn't say it. I said it.
He got it. He got the capital to be sued.
You're fraudulent. You're taking people's money. You're not doing what you say you're supposed to be doing. So anybody who is, if their focus is something other than trying to give you your wings so you can fly on your own in this day trading business, in this investment world, then you should question everything else that they're trying to get you to do.
Because it's probably bullshit.
It's probably bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. And
what's your
next bullet? Did you have another bullet point?
I think you touched on a lot of them.
I think I did more than that. But listen, man, don't be scared of it.
Let's pause here.
Yeah, don't be scared of it.
Let's pause here. You have to have a part 2.
Okay.
So this is just what happens with the. This is what happens with the F-It podcast. Y'all, we are bringing you people with legitimate conversation that it is worth listening to all of it. We are always worth listening to all of it. So let's pause here. We have to bring you back. We appreciate you for taking your expensive time and bringing expensive time and coming here to Little Lola.
It's within reach.
It's within reach.
I had to pull out my friend bag for y'all.
She did not have to go on her bra.
But I did. I had to go on the left side of my bra. It was sweaty titty money. No, but
she
seriously.
gave me 4 whole sweaty ass dollars, and I'm here right now.
Thank you.
Please believe it.
No, seriously. I hope that this episode has edified people.
And it has, because people were really asking questions.
They were.
So we know, and we definitely have to bring you back. No, we definitely have to bring you back.
We definitely have to bring you back. And in the meantime,
where again can they find you on every outlet that is going to give you to your business?
Instagram is Grind Major Day Trading.
Grind Day Major.
No, it's me saying it dyslexic. Grind Major Day Trading, because day trading and then Grind Major. Grind Major Day Trading. It's on his hat.
It's on his hat.
Yeah, it's on the hat.
Brand yourself. Drake been gave you about 4 words today, and y'all ain't caught it. Brand yourself. Okay?
Make yourself accessible.
We need to that.
Email is majorgrind MAJORGRIND the number 00 at gmail.com.
Majorgrind00 at gmail.com.
The website grindmajordaytrading.com. I try to keep it all uniform for everybody who was able
and we ain't bringing y'all no skanks.
Right.
Nah,
they got a website.
None of that booth, man. None of that dog food, none of that crazy shit, man. It's all official, man. And you can find me what's Facebook?
Dre Mitchell.
Yeah, Dre Mitchell.
That's his personal page, but still he be
Grind Major Day Trading and Education is Facebook. They made me add something on there. Somebody tried to take my shit.
Oh wow.
So y'all had to add the education. But yeah, man, so Grind Major Day Trading, just Google that, man. I'm probably gonna be the first person that pop up.
Okay.
You'll find me. If you follow the F-It podcast, they follow me.
Subscribe.
Yeah, so
On
make sure
YouTube.
you
And
make
follow
sure you-
us.
And
Yeah,
follow
if you ain't already doing it, make sure you follow them, and then you can follow me through that way as well. They've tagged me in their post and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here, man. I'm not hard to find, man. I'm a one man show. So you know I'm out here, man. I'm just
But
trying to be
guess what? He
exposure.
told me lately that he's busy.
He busy
Because
we got
people are
time.
realizing that A, they got the time, and B, they can find the money,
Yeah.
and C, they could have done this all along.
They could have done it all along.
And you ain't got
So,
no choice.
You ain't got no choice because these corporations and these other businesses aren't going to be the things that leave a legacy behind for your children.
Right.
But
Because you're going to work hard for these other businesses. And then you're going to die. And guess what they're going to do? Replace you.
they're gonna
Then you
replace it.
invest in a company that got $500 billion. Bella.
So two quick
Or
other
that.
things. I know I keep adding extra shit, but
No,
two
it's
quick
okay.
things. One, this is some shit you can teach your kids
Mm-hmm.
because
That's important.
ain't none
Please.
of y'all about to outlive money.
No.
None of y'all. None
So,
of us.
So if you learn how to day trade the market, you can teach your kids. I tried to introduce my daughter as well, and she was receptive to it. So, but she's 20, she's doing her own thing. Shout out to my baby being an EMS.
20.
Yeah, she's about to be a Grady EMS.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so she's
Why do you
gonna-
have a
Shout out to
20-year-old? What's
Grady.
happening?
yeah, so
Right, like
so
the
she will
water.
save one of you all's lives one day.
Praise
But
the Lord. We need
Pray,
it.
pray your protection. That
yeah, please believe it. So, but no, you can teach your kids, and just don't be scared of this shit, man. Like it's nothing to be scared of. You don't have to lose money to learn how to do it. If you can. I'm a sneakerhead. I don't wear Jordans, but I watch them sell out every time they drop a new release. If you can do that,
Okay.
then you can find the money to invest, and that's not
True.
picking. And this is coming from a sneakerhead. I love Air Max, so
sneakerhead.
I mean Jordans and Air Max cost. I think Air Max.
You got some
Yeah,
shit
they
on
ain't
I ain't
about
never
the
seen
same.
today.
Air Max
Jordan,
be-
okay, Jordan's a little bit more.
Air Max be. I don't know, man. We be
No, just
we
it
be
depends.
knocking all off
It
the block
depends.
when that
They
dollar.
back-
Dre got a lot of shoes. So
They
if you
better-
can find the money,
The point
to
is,
spare.
the point is the opportunity. Starbucks, man. That if you're doing $20 to $30
Always got
a
some
day
good
on
shit.
something that is a non-necessity,
Yeah.
then you got the money to do this.
You got the money.
It-
Plug
it's
it.
there. It's there.
Plug
so
it.
Do you
that-
have an effort?
So
What's the effort?
the effort.
For our guests, I didn't explain. So our podcast is fuck it. But
Okay,
we have an
right.
effort of the night, and the effort is basically
Two
like our
Cs.
final
While I'm
thoughts,
here,
like
it's
Jerry
always two
Springer.
Cs.
Final
Right.
thoughts.
Okay.
Kinda. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an effort?
So
What's the effort, homie?
So I don't never tell me the efforts no more, so I be having to wing it.
because I don't want to be censored. The effort.
How you censored on the fucking?
Because I'm a Virgo.
podcast? Oh,
I be
you the
like-
censor. Oh, you the censor. Okay.
We're not doing that.
We
Gotcha.
need sponsors. So the effort of the day,
Okay.
because this is the money
Episode.
episode. The effort us.
Oh, wow.
The effort.
Wow.
It's the Cheetos.
The
it-
effort
is it
is
the
the
effort of the
Tito's.
day?
It's gluten
I've
free.
only had Dark Horse Cabernet Sauvignon.
So
want
no,
some
the
Tito's.
effort of today is those of you who have had luck in the market. If you are not coming with education, please stop with your posts of stupid fucking Excel graphs that we
Make no
avoided,
sense to nobody.
that we sent the link to somebody else
they said what?
to pass our temp agency tests. To pass the Excel, to get the intermediate.
This is why he don't tell me the efforts no more.
In the first place, we don't even get
you don't
advanced
do it.
Excel. We stop at
He don't tell me
intermediate.
no more because he know I'm gonna censor him on.
Stop doing that, because again, what it does is it puts people into a couple of situations. One, where
Doesn't
they
set 'em up for
feel
success.
like they failed. Two,
Bad-
where they've
bad
now lost money that they didn't have in the first place. And three, a fear to try it again. If it works for you, continue to do it and then pass the knowledge on for free or charge somebody to help them.
But be available.
But be available. Do not throw people to a cliff looking like it is going to go on and on forever, and they didn't know that their next step was going to be a fall.
$5,000 drop.
A drop. These people do not have money. It is okay to say, I don't know what I am doing.
I just happen to get lucky.
I just happen to get lucky because really a lot of y'all still don't know what the fuck you're doing. You so happen
I can promise you don't.
to have some insider trading with somebody who knew what they was doing at that one particular time.
So they Martha Stewart?
And you don't know nobody that good.
So they did that. Guys, we have to be smart.
Yeah.
Your money and investment comes with education and research. There is no way around it.
No shortcut.
There is no shortcut to make money. The only shortcut to make money is that you bought some land and happen to dig and some oil pop the fuck out.
Or gold.
Or a pistol.
Gold. Or a pistol or looting.
And that's on some other shit you don't want.
Again, 41 and Gucci
Okay,
or
so
Christian
what's
Dior
your
slide.
fuck?
So we gotta come back.
That's my bucket. My bucket is stop telling people how to grieve.
Stop telling people how to grieve.
Don't tell me how to grieve. I don't need you to tell me how to grieve. I need you to ask me what you can do to. Actually, I don't even need you to ask me to do to help because Google is available. But stop teaching me. Stop telling people how to grieve. Don't speak up about the reaction without speaking up about the cause.
Yes.
That's been burning me internally
Yes.
because I put on my post today while I was on my way over here and I was not recording it live. I was on the stop sign, but don't let people distract you because I think a lot of times with politicians and things like that, especially in our community, we get distracted very easily. We're very much in a culture of it's some serious shit going on and then somebody do a TikTok dance and then we're doing it too. And TikTok, you're canceled, you're finished,
TikTok.
you're finito, by the way, with your stupid ass. I can't do none of the dances, no way. But we get so distracted that we forget, Donald Trump got on TV today and started talking about some other shit. He didn't say not one time George Floyd's name. So we get so distracted on the reactions, the protests and the riots that we forget about while we're doing it.
While we're doing it.
So my bucket is, at the end of the day, you have to be okay with the way that you decide to grieve.
Yeah.
You decide to grieve by going out and knocking somebody in the head or knocking a business off or blowing up a business, then that's the way you grieve. If I decide to, baby, I done sent so much money out like an old white lady. I'm like, you going to protest today? What you need, supplies? Because that's my ministry now. I can't go on the front lines, but I can see $20, $40 to make sure that you got a mask on, to make sure you got water, to make sure you got things. So don't judge people how they grieve because at the end of the day, that's not the best use of your platform. The best use of your platform is to, especially if you're not black, is to understand what's going on and understand how you contribute to not fixing this systemic racist ass system, to erase it and start over.
Start over. Burn it down.
This system need to have a COVID.
A COVID.
A COVID. What?
So,
okay, think of your effort. Sorry, we put you on the spot because I ain't tell you about the effort, but I be forgetting about it.
Because it's organic.
So my effort, should I say effort or fuck it or do it better?
Whichever
Baby,
one you like.
our parents
fuck
know
it, effort.
All right, so for me,
Our parents know we got
fuck it with 2 C's all the time is
It's from California,
gonna
ladies
be,
and gentlemen. Don't be alarmed.
is just get the money, man. Work with what your definitives are, because the intangibles are always going to be there. So what I mean by that is, first of all, your normal really wasn't fucking normal, but that's beside the point. Whatever you consider to be normal, or your complacent, because I don't use comfort zone, your complacent zone, whatever that was, is not going to go back to that. Mm-hmm. So what can you control right now? You can control to some degree, it really just depends on the individual and their circumstances. You can find a way to make some money. You can do something, but whatever you need to do to make money, accumulate it, amass it, save it, prepare, because you don't know how the chips are going to fall, but you know it's going to cost you money.
Okay.
And you don't know how the chips are going to fall, but if you are if you're black or brown, is probably going to cost you disproportionately more. You know what I mean? So prepare for the shit that you know. You know what I'm saying? And don't limit what you consume. I'm not saying any of this of a place of insensitivity or lack of empathy or sympathy. I'm saying it from a place of being real. Ain't none of this shit new. Everybody gassed up right now because of the manner of which that gentleman passed away in front of everybody. That's why you're so gassed up. The fact of the matter that the fact that is this shit new? This shit ain't new. So since it's not new, control. It doesn't mean that you don't care. Just control the amount of this shit that you consume, and take that energy and put it into something that is going to be productive, be profitable, and position you to come out on the other side of this shit a little bit better than you were when all this shit started. Because remember, it's crazy how the pandemic can put everything to a motherfucking halt except for beating niggas' asses. You know what I'm saying? That shit gonna put a halt to every motherfucking thing but smoking niggas. So all I'm saying is focus on what the fuck you can focus on. Strap up, make money, stay quiet, get prepared, because it's gonna be a lot of upset people, black and white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you got them cooning ass motherfuckers too. So it's gonna be a lot of upset people when the chips fall in our favor. You need to be prepared for all that. So just get your money on, man. Like, learn how to day trade. If you don't want to learn how to day trade, you know how to solve a problem for some fucking body.
Right.
Figure out how to monetize that knowledge.
Monetize your knowledge.
So you can
That's what I took from this.
So you can make some money that nobody can pull the plug on.
No one.
Make sure nobody
yelling at me.
nobody can pull the plug on what I do as long as there's an economy.
Exactly. Nothing.
So whatever you do, man, and this is why property investing and real estate are the three main avenues that the most wealthiest make money, because it's very hard to pull the plug on those three. It's really just that fucking simple.
You're not gonna be able to ever.
So that's my fuck it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck it.
Yeah, man. Don't
get that money.
Yeah, get the money.
Get the money.
Limit the negative shit.
I came here to dance, and that's it.
Yeah, limit the negative shit. Vibrate high. Drink hella water. And be good, man. Be blessed, man. That's it, man.
Thank you so much. We're gonna bring you back.
This was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Money.
It was a lot going on.
No, this was a lot of money.
It was.
That this could be charged. So we definitely thank you so much for
absolutely
for investing your time.
Thank you
into your community.
Into your community and everyone.
Because a lot of people don't do that.
FBI, nothing that we said is real.
You know, truth be told, man, people really don't think this topic is cool enough to garner a whole lot of attention. Yeah. So they want to do all the cool shit. They don't really want to talk about the
We can shit and giggle all we want.
Right, because we want to continue to have things instead of...
I just said that to say that I appreciate you all having me on.
You're welcome.
Because I love your show. It's very fun, but it's refreshing to see you switch gears like it ain't nothing.
You gotta balance
all the time.
Yeah,
you gotta balance the knowledge with the joy. So
until next time. There is a part 2. Y'all heard him on camera say that he was gonna be okay. Well, we didn't discuss.
Yeah, whatever they say is cool. Whatever they say is
we'll
cool.
bring him back at another time to discuss more money. Because some of y'all got your stimulus check yet, so we're gonna allow you to do that, and then we'll bring you back so you can go ahead and reinvest. But again, Grind Major Day Trading. On all social media platforms. On Instagram.
You're going to find me with that.
You're going to find me. Just Google it. It's fine.
Google. You're going to find me with that.
And we'll be back next week.
Oh my God, next week. I go back to work next week, actually.
He's no longer furloughed.
So that's good.
That's good.
That's a blessing, man.
So thank you guys again for spending your money in the supply chain.
Oh, wow.
Until next time, c'est la vie.
Oh, wow.
Peace.
C'est la vie, are we? I'm black. Bye. What does c'est la vie mean?
I don't know. So long.
That was fucking fun.
Thank you.
That was fucking fun, and I was nervous in the motherfucker.
No, you did great.
We already had
They learned a lot.
Is that right?
That they
Yes.